So
Yeah. Cool. That's awesome.
yeah.
You're so excited. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to On the Lam Virus Edition. Not virus
A
shawl.
virus shawl.
Oh, we should wear them.
A virus shawl.
That's too funny. Everybody's sick. It's amazing that I'm here sitting up today. Yesterday was the first day that I was actually upright all day long. This is, hey, our colors go together.
Mm-hmm.
I'll stay like this.
Color coordinated.
I don't know where Ada's virus shawl is right now. She was wearing it a while ago.
We should make you make one for yourself.
I know. I've been thinking about it to make one for myself.
It's such it's
beautiful. I really do like it. I like
the finished project. It's also the process of crocheting it is like so fun because once you figure out the repeats, then it's just like it just grows and grows and grows, and so you're like, oh, I just want to do one more, and it's like every time you feel like you jump in size like significantly, so it's very satisfying and surprisingly fast because I think I knit this one, which is like a pretty good size.
Yeah.
Without actually like taking it all apart. I'm pretty sure I knit this one, and I think this was my first one.
Come on.
In a car ride on the way like to and from your house. But I think I actually knit the whole, like, or crocheted the whole thing. I think I had started it with just one cake and wasn't sure if I was going to add in. Oh, I think I started it with this one, that whatever this cake is. I can't remember what it's called. I had started with that, and then I got to the end at your house. Like, so it was like started in my driveway, finished it in your driveway, and was like, oh, it's done. And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll add in this one after all. But then, because it was quite small, but then looking at it, I was like, oh, I don't want this colorway up near my face. So I pulled it all out and restarted. I'm pretty sure either like at your house a little bit, but mostly like on the ride home. So it was like, the ride home from NalediS house is 2 hours. So it was like 2 hours to do.
That's awesome.
And I think this one might be sport weight. It's free of fibers, sport weight in 2 different gradients. So this one's mint julep, which takes you up to about here. And then I can't remember what this one's called, but if you look on my Ravelry project page, it's there. And it's like, and then since then, I mean, I made a couple out of Cindy's cakes, which hers are fingering weight, the Monsoon Calamity, like applied cotton, and hers are fingering weight, so it's a little bit slow. Like it's not as fast because I find like
I would probably do that then. I don't know. Like I like a quick project, but at the same time, kind of like to spend my time with a project.
Yeah, I just sometimes it's like it's nice to have a whip that's like you don't have to think super hard about it, you know? Like once you get through a few repeats, then you get the pattern and it's like, you don't have to think super hard about it, but every time you hold it up, you're like, yes, I'm making something. Like, whereas sometimes I feel like I've worked on something forever and then I hold it up and it's still only this big and you're like, it'll never be done. Anyways, yes, virus edition. Shawl-ish and actual viruses.
And it's funny because like when Jason had to call in sick the one day when he wasn't feeling well, it was like his boss was also down for the count. We've heard other friends that are down for the count that are like, no, well, actually the one little girl that we watch on Thursdays, her family, she couldn't come the 1 week because her family was very sick. And then I finally watched Cozy Up with Stitchin' Sisters last night. That was like a week late, but whatever. Just couldn't even watch stuff on the futon, which I normally would do with knitting. And that sounds like they were sick last week.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Definitely that seasonal
everywhere
stuff going around.
Yeah. And Jason was heard from his work that there was like a nursing home around Stainer, a town close to us, that they were down for the count. So it's like very widespread.
Thankfully right now it seems like in my house at least it's only me. But
well, here's the thing. It started with Ada.
Yeah.
A few days, and then a few days later it was Morgan. A couple days after that, Clark. the next day Jason, and a couple days after that was me.
Yeah.
So pegged us
My
off.
fingers are crossed. Like a while ago, my boys had like off tummies a little bit, but like definitely not to the extent that I do. Like it was like, you know, 1 or 2 bathroom visits and then they seemed fine. So I'm like, I feel like that could have been all for them, but who knows? But I'm like, I'd way rather have like a head cold and just be stuffy, but still have like energy. It's the being like totally incapacitated that's so difficult. Like,
the only thing good, well, my kids are pretty nice, like when I've got a head cold too, but like the only thing good about like the GI is that everyone is like so nice. The other one was like serving me snacks. I guess, yeah. They were all like, you know, it'd be like, who can get me crackers and applesauce? And someone would be like, I'll get the crackers, I'll get the applesauce. And Jason was like really, you know, he would like do my chores for me and stuff like that because I was just like, I can't. Like I really want to, but I just can't. So
yeah.
Whereas like a head cold, you have to kind of fight through, don't you? You're like, yeah. No one feels. You're like
definitely more
trying to sniffle a little louder to be like, feel bad for me, but no one cares when you've got a head cold. Yeah.
Steve's definitely more helpful when it's like a stomach bug because he can also see like how low energy I was. But
can't do anything. Yeah.
But kids wise, I find my kids are like, oh, you're sick? Can you give me a snack? I'm like, I can't live. I'm like, I can't get you snacks.
People would still ask, but I would just be like, I really don't feel well. Can you get something that you can make?
Yeah.
It'd be like a no. Then I'd be like, okay, then what can you help with then? Like, what parts can you be a part of? It's got to be a team effort. Yeah. Anyhow, who knows if that whole conversation will actually make it into the final cut. This is On the Lam, the chatty podcast. Grab your favorite beverage, whatever time of day it is. We won't judge you if it's alcoholic, if it's after like 5 o'clock. You won't even know.
Although knitting and drinking is not always.
It's not really the best plan, isn't it? I love it. I watch.
One drink is okay. But.
One drink's okay. Yes, that can actually make you. Sometimes that makes me a little bit faster. So when you have extra, oh my gosh, so funny watching Christy Glass Knits. She was interviewing her friend Cece, I think it is, and she said Cece is of the dark-skinned variety. I don't know. I was hoping that would like help you to know who that was then.
I feel like I know who you're talking about, but I don't think her name's Cece, is it?
Celia? I think they call her Cece.
Okay.
Or maybe it's that my friend, a friend of a friend of mine has a friend Cecilia, and they all call her Cece. Maybe that's why. Anyhow, man. Okay. You just have to hold on tight when you listen to me talk sometimes and like wait for the point to come out. Cece, or Cecilia, whatever her name is, was saying, when you drink, you tink. I was like, I love that. Yeah. Also, when you're sick, you tink. It's the same thing, because I tried to do a simple leg warmer pattern for Tamu, and the next day I was like, wow, that was not worth it. To do so much tinking with mohair, which is not fun. No, it's not fun. So yeah, get your favorite podcast whip while you watch. And we know what Tam is wearing, her virus shawl with all the yarns that are involved in making that. I am wearing my keyed up shawl, which I finished last week or 2 weeks ago now, I don't even know, with Monsoon Calamity, her Cindy's Boomerang Gradient, and the colorway is Serenity. I'm like staring at myself trying to remember all the details of it. Yeah, and I kind of layered it up like a cowl today.
Did you block it?
No, there was no blocking that happened. There was very little stitching or yarning stuff of any kind that happened since the last podcast. Yeah. This might be a fast one too, because Tama might decide.
I might fall asleep. Like Grandpa from The Simpsons.
That's kind of how I felt last week, though. Like my body was definitely fighting something, even at the last episode. So I was just like, I'm really like struggling to push through to have any kind of energy here. So this might be a fast one. So we'll move on to.
So I can't help it yawning.
No, I know, it's okay. This is keeping it real. We're showing up as we are. Instead of canceling, or when you're like, you try to push through and like be the same energy level that you always are. Like I used to do that. Yeah. Absolutely. I don't believe in it anymore.
Yeah.
So
I feel like those are the things that it's like I don't fully believe in it, and I don't know that I'm as fully capable of it as I used to be. Like, I feel like that's the thing that you can pull off in like your teens and your 20s. Like when you're super hungover and you still go to work, like, hey, everybody, ready to work? But then you like just have to go to the bathroom for a second. You're like, like I'm so sick. And then you just go back out like it never happened.
Right.
Like, that's like for your teens and early 20s. I'm like mid 30s now. So I'm like, I don't have the capacity to fake it as well as I used to.
Right.
Sometimes, but it has to be like, I don't know.
Well, I'm even thinking like, when it's that time of the month. I've had this discussion with people before that like have professional jobs, and I'm like, I just don't think I want a professional job anymore where I don't want to be like rude to people once a month. And I'm just saying like, I'm tired, and I'm be like, okay, I can do this work for you, but I can't chat at the same time. Like, I don't want to be chatty with you, like just to be honest.
I'll take your work, but I'm not going to be friendly.
Well, no.
But then I think that sometimes that speaks to like the industry you work in, or like where you work, because like I remember
excuse me.
Like I remember working, generally I feel like I've always kind of worked in like female dominated workplaces or industries, and at least not so much with clients, but at least with coworkers I could go in and be like, look, I am PMSing like a mofo. Just steer clear, like I'm gonna be nice because I have to be, but like don't push me. Or if you see the veins start to pop, just step right in because I just need a minute.
I'm saying there's like a difference between being nice and kind and polite and being like on and like perky and stuff. I'm not gonna pretend to be perky, but I will still be polite and kind. Yeah.
No, but that's what I mean. Is like, it's nice when I could work in environments where my coworkers 100% understood, because they also could be in that same place at any moment.
Yeah, at any moment.
Well, I was gonna say they're in the same boat, but I'm like, it's not like we actually all had our periods at the same time. Yeah. Anyways, I have to show you my mug. Speaking of all of these things, I got this new mug. It was a little bit of an impulse purchase. I wasn't really mug shopping, but
waking up is hard to do.
And so I saw that part and I was like, oh, it's really funny. I kind of like that mug. And then I saw this side.
That's cute, face.
I didn't tell Steve that I bought a mug. I was getting other stuff on well.ca, which if you are in Canada, it's a business in Guelph. It's basically like a retail-ish store that sells lots of stuff. But and it seems like every time I go on there, they have more things that I'm like surprised that they sell, like bedding. And I'm like, it used to be more like food and supplements and baby stuff and cosmetics. And now it feels like it's like, it keeps growing.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was on their site looking for something legitimate because there's a tea that I like that I seem to only ever be able to find the one flavor that I like through them. The Stash Double Spice Chai, which is not what I'm drinking right now, but a Stash Double Spice Chai. It's delicious. It's like spicy. Love it. Anyways, so then I somehow stumbled upon this mug, and when I got it, like when I used it the first time, Steve's sitting on the couch. He's like, "Did you get a new mug?" Because we have mugs. And I was like, "Look, all of our tall mugs like this. I didn't realize it was a 20-ounce mug. So all of our tall mugs like this. Previously, I think I actually bought them at the dollar store, which in retrospect is like probably not good for your health. But a lot of them were chipped because we had them before kids. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get rid of all these mugs. I'm just going to replace it with this one mug because I know I also have like lots of other sizes of mugs. But I like held it up and I kept going like this to Steve. I It's like, this little doggy's so funny.
It's funny. I'm glad you said it's 20 ounces. I gotta see on my bottle. How much is 20 ounces? Oh, this one doesn't have a measuring. Just the other ones.
It might be on the bottom.
16. Is that the ounces? It doesn't actually have an OZ beside it, but anyways, whatever. I'll look downstairs at my measuring cup. I was gonna say the other bottle, but I've got other measuring devices as well that will tell me how big 20 ounces is. We got a little rowdy on Monday, and Ada knocked over Jason's one of his favorite tall coffee mugs. It's a Santa mug, but it's like the perfect size for him. Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah. Anyway, so that would be perfect for him because I had to kick him out of our bedroom to podcast this morning. He's not a morning person. First the afternoon shifts at work for a reason. He doesn't like getting up early. Yeah. Anyway, so he's hardly ever perky first thing in the morning. When he comes downstairs happy in the morning, I'm like,
what's wrong with you?
Yeah, what's wrong? You're gonna throw off my whole vibe. What do you want?
All right.
Okay.
What are you working on?
Yeah, so my podcast whip, I think I was podcast whipping this last week too.
Yeah.
A little bit of a blur. Yeah, I think I was. The Adventures on the Zephyr. Pattern is Adventures on the Zephyr.
Are you adding in the orange now?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell. At first I thought it was still on pink. I think I said, oh.
Oh, it sounded like you, and I was like, hey.
I might have been thinking you, but what I actually said was, oh, because when you're holding it down a little bit lower, it just looked all pink, and then was like you held it up, and I was like, why does it look darker there? And I was like, oh, it's.
I also have a little mistake in there, and that's noticeable, but considering
here
the rest of it, I'm like, whatever, just leave it in. I know it's so terrible, but I'm like, what? Why do I feel the need to use all the yarn?
Waste not, want not.
I know, but I'm like, there's probably something else. Like I could use it for stuffing, couldn't I? It's not that I
love this yarn. It makes the best stuffing.
So mean.
You could.
It's just that the colors just don't go together. It looks so strange.
I feel like if there maybe needs to be more space between the pink and the orange. Not as much as between the pink and the green, but just a little bit probably would be.
I don't know. I really thought about that too, but I didn't want to do that either.
What?
Put gray in between there.
Yeah.
It needs to. I feel like I would like it if it could be broken up with a color that did go well.
Yeah, like a blue or something would like bridge it better, probably.
Yeah, I actually was thinking of blue as well. I don't really feel like buying more of it. I don't know. Yeah. Now you're gonna make me back burner this. I don't know.
I don't think if I have anything like in that similar weight that would be blue.
Or even this dark gray would have been probably better.
Yeah, I was thinking that, and I was gonna ask you, do you have any of the dark gray left? But I was like, you probably don't, and I don't want you to think about ripping it out.
No, it won't. That won't happen.
The only blue I can think that I have in like a DK weight is the blue that I used for the cuffs and the color work on my sweater. So it won't be the same base, obviously. It might work. I don't know. Bring it this weekend. We'll trust.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just pause this then. My new podcast whip. Actually, maybe I'll pause and go get my Wonder Woman socks. I haven't done those for a while. Pause again. I'll be right back.
Need like a little intermission, or like a, in The Simpsons when there'd be like technical difficulties on the news, right? And there'd be like the guy in the chair who looks drunk. He's got like bottles around him and the camera's like pointing.
No, I don't remember that, but
I'll see if I can find it and send it to you.
Okay. All right. My podcast whip for today is my Wonder Woman socks, brought to you by Turtle Pearl Yarns. Been thinking about these, but I just haven't. I've been trying to go back to be a bit more monogamous. Simplify my life a little bit. So I haven't picked these up, but I'm glad to. So yeah, straight vanilla tube for now, and then I'll add in the afterthought heel after. Do you have any faux, or are you typing right now? Do you want me to do a faux?
Well, I didn't show you my podcast whip, so.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Stopped and started so many times.
No, you haven't. Oh, okay.
I'm finishing. So on Friday was the last class of my Wellesley mittens.
Yeah.
Not my Wellesley mittens. I was teaching class. The pattern is by Anne from Galt House of Yarns. You can find it on Ravelry. It is free. It's called the Wellesley mitten. It is a lined mitten. So it is written for stripes, but you could do it solid. The top is this Diamond Luxury Impression, which is DK weight. It's a tweedy yarn, but you could use any DK weight for the top. And then the inside, I think last time I said it Myasol, but it's like Mirasol. I can't recall what the mix is. It's nice and like smooth and soft for the inside. Anyway, so finished the class. So I have one done mitten that I had done before I taught the class, and then my in progress mitten because I recast on with the class so that I could kind of keep up with them. But I mean, I wasn't really knitting with them in the class so much as I was showing things and chatting with people and stuff. So I'm trying to finish the second one so I can actually wear them before it gets too warm. And I need to fix this one because it's like a little bit too long at the top. But.
Oh, you're going to fix it?
Yeah, I'll take it back. I shortened this one to where I think it should be, and then I'll just go back and shorten the other one.
Nice. So everyone was able to bind off in the class?
I think so. Almost everybody. So there was one person who had missed the first week, so she was a little bit behind us. Everybody who wanted to Kitchenered the top. The odd one or two people decided to hold their top stitches because they knew how to Kitchener already and go to picking up the thumb because they wanted to make sure, because everybody wanted to make sure they at least learned the things that they really didn't know how to do.
Yeah, of course.
A few of them really wanted to also make sure that, I think everybody pretty well wanted to make sure that they got to how to pick up the stitches around the I-cord cast on. Mm-hmm. So it was like, at the beginning of like this past week, we were trying to get to up to the decreases at least, so we could do the decreases and closing, chat about the thumb, and show the pickup if we can. But a few people, because again, they had somewhat recently done a sock class, so a few people like finished the top of the mitten on their own and then just did thumb and picking up. So it was kind of good that way that we could kind of, everyone could do what they wanted to an extent, because it's not an overly complicated project to sort of keep track of. But
so if people get to different parts at different times, you kind of like stop and do individual lessons?
Kind of, yeah. Like it wasn't a huge group. It was only, I think, 6 people in total. So
was that the max?
I don't know. Maybe.
Because I think at one point when I looked at it to figure out, because I wanted to plug the website for Galt House of Yarns at the bottom that one week we were talking about it, the first week. It said there was only like 1 spot left.
Yeah. I think 6 or 7 might have been the max. Okay. Which is good because that's like manageable to go around and not everything I did as like individual lessons, like certain things I did like kind of stop everybody and do a demonstration for everybody because everyone was either there or close enough that I'm like, this way you can all see it together, and then when you're there, I'll help you again to do it yourself, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Anyways, yeah, that was good. You're saying FOs?
Yeah.
Ta-da!
Molly Weasley.
So on Saturday night, I went out with some girlfriends. One of my girlfriends is moving to Ottawa. So we had a girls' night. But I totally told Steve, like, Not really feeling like I don't think we're gonna like go out. It's gonna be pretty tame. Like, I'm gonna sleep over so I don't have to worry about driving, but I'll probably be fine the next day. It was very inaccurate. We did mostly stay in. We went out very briefly, but we mostly stayed in. But it's just like the chatting and like you're drinking and talking and like having fun that way, just like reminiscing and whatever. And it's like, yeah, later on in the night comes and I'm like, I didn't even realize I drank that much. Like, so Sunday, this is pretty much all I did.
Right. I was like, how does this link with the sock? You were drinking.
Because one was done. This one was done, except I hadn't officially bound it off because I just wanted to make sure that I could get them to match in size. And then this one was, I think I started and finished the Fleagle on Saturday, like between, I don't know, sitting around here and then on the way to my friend's house. And then I did the whole cuff pretty well on Sunday and bound off Sunday night.
Nice.
So they almost match, not quite. Something happened. I don't know how I ended up like messing it up at the toe, but like one started with more orange than the other somehow, even though I definitely like split them. Like, so it should have gone like right on. I must have just had like a longer tail on one or something. I don't know how I did that, but whatever. They're close enough. And I don't really care about perfectly matching socks. You can tell too on the heel where it's like one has more pink than the other. So basically it was just like a vanilla toe up for the foot, a Fleagle heel, and then I did a broken rib cuff. So I did, after the Fleagle heel, I did, I think 8 rounds even, and then I did a broken rib cuff up to the top, and I inserted a couple of increases up the back of the leg just to make sure it would fit over my calf. And yeah, so I think
we're just saying calf, because you don't need to even say beefy or athletic or larger than.
Well, I feel like I do, because there are lots of women whose legs are not shaped like mine who would be like,
mine.
Why would you need to put increases up the back? Like, they wouldn't understand why you need to put increases up the back of the leg. It's like, because the size change between my ankle and my calf is larger than most women.
Okay.
And I only say most because shopping for things like pants that hug close to the leg, tall boots,
that's true,
all are too small around my calf if they fit in my ankle and my foot. I don't feel self-conscious about it. I just know I got my dad's calves and not my mom's calves, because my mom has like no calf. Like, it's like a stick with a ball on the side. Like, she's the teeniest little calves. And like, I just know that that's what my leg is shaped like. Like, it's the same as like other body proportions. Like, I know I have a very true hourglass shape. No, I don't work at it. It's just the way my rib cage is shaped in proportion to my mom's hips and bottom. Like, it's, so I just know certain things that fit me better than other things. But if I was trying to, make a shaped sweater, I would probably have to put in more shaping than some people, So that's the only reason I specifically pointed out, is because if you don't need any leg shaping, then don't worry about it. A broken rib is pretty stretchy. I just like the look of it over a regular rib, and I enjoy working it a little bit more than a regular rib. It's quite stretchy, but I still, even now, like even with that little I put 2 increases, and I probably should have done 3 or 4, because it's still like you can see the stitches like stretched when it gets to the top, which is, it sucks, so I don't really care that much. But
yeah, I think for the socks I made for you for your birthday, I think I increased like 4 stitches on the first one, and then did like 2 more increase with just 2 each.
Athletic maneuver. And you can still see, like, I did the tubular, no, I did not do the tubular bind off. Oh. My heel missed the edge of the chair. I did not do the tubular bind off. What did I do? It looks like a tubular bind off, but a tubular bind off is knitted. So I'm pretty sure you use both your knitting needles to work it. I did like a sewn version.
Yeah, that's all I've ever done, is the sewn tubular.
I'm pretty sure there's a tubular bind off where you can use your knitting needles. But hold on, I'll see if I can find the name of it.
Knitting is so incredible. Like, I just can't believe how many different ways there are of doing things that people, I suppose for me, yeah, if there was not the internet, I probably would be a lot more inventive for a lot of things. But I'm just like, what have other people already thought of and going?
Yeah. So the video that I found, I just dropped one of my dumb points.
Okay.
The video that I found was called The Invisible Ribbed Bind Off, and the video is by the Sweater Collective. So the look is the same as the tubular bind off, but I think when you do a tubular bind off in a knitted fashion, there's like a more obvious wrong side. Okay. So like inside edge looks different from the outside edge, whereas this is like a little bit more seamless all the way across. Not that that was important to me, but I was just trying to figure out what's the easiest way to do it, because I've done a tubular bind off in the past in a knitted way that I found very confusing. So yeah, so this way works. Anyways, I'm quite happy with these.
Nice. So that was every last inch that you could possibly.
No, I don't know what's the best way to say it. I burned one color repeat because I was not trying to get them super matchy, but
right,
I was trying to get them to both end at a complete repeat, even though it still didn't quite work out. But yeah, so there is one color repeat left. I don't know, put it in my scrap bucket and use it for something someday.
We'll find a use, yeah, for sure.
And now I'm like desperately trying to get a hold of her Mischief Managed colorway. Not desperately.
That's Nomadic Yarns.
Yes, that's Nomadic Yarns. That was the Molly Weasley colorway. Anyways, I'm really hoping her next update will have the Mischief Managed, because I'm like kicking myself that I didn't get it when I had the opportunity to get it.
And what's the colors in that one?
It's like browns. Like it's like I don't know. There's like a dark color that I'm not quite sure if it's black or brown, like a beige, a lighter beige, and then a speckled stripe. I don't know. There's just something about it.
Cool. Want to see my, well, I'm calling it a faux because it's bound off, but it's technically not done. Can you guess which one it is?
No.
That it could be bound.
Oh, your abalone?
No. Once that's bound off, what else could you do with it?
I don't know. Weave in ends and block it?
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
I don't know. Well, probably won't show up that great, but.
Not great. Oh, but that's nice. Yeah, nice. Yeah, because you kind of surprised me when you said brown. I was like, you hate brown. But yeah, for socks, it's nice to have some like beautiful socks that are hand knit and also not always super bright and colorful.
Well, this is the problem. I wasn't as attracted to it when I first saw it. But then I'm like, it's called Mischief Managed. And I'm like,
oh, okay, that's why.
As far as a Harry Potter reference, like that's a good one. So I was like, I really want it because of that. She has other Harry Potter colorways that I'm like not interested in at all, because they're just not my colors. But there's just certain ones that I'm like, I need to have that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Anyway, what's your faux?
My faux, and I'm calling it a faux. You can call it an AFO if you want to.
Oh, I totally forgot about that.
Do I have it the right way? Yes, I do. Sorry. My Rebel Just for Kicks. Had I not been sick, this would have been blocked. This would have been fringed. There was literally like one whole day that I didn't touch anything knitting. The second day, I did like a couple rounds and messed up horribly. It was a few days of not really knitting at all anyway. So this will probably go down to be blocked as soon as we're done podcasting this today. I thought I would even wear this today, but then it was a little bit warm. A little too warm for it. So, oh yeah, and I forgot to message her about the name of the yarn. So I'll try and do that for next week when it's officially done. Rebel Just for Kicks by Gina Jones, Flock on the Plain, and she also dyed the yarn. Yeah.
I think she has posted a whole bunch of new yarn in her Etsy shop.
I saw, and if she wasn't across a large body of water, I think I'd order from her more. I really like her.
Yeah.
She seems like a really funky chick, and yeah, I think I would just order from her more. No.
We'll have to like save it up and then go in together.
Yeah, that's
like seriously, right now between like shipping and I swear customs has like upped their game in Canada, because there was like a period of time where it was really inconsistent whether or not things would get dinged by customs, and now it's like every single thing, and I'm like,
really,
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wonder why.
I don't know. Well, they probably realize they're losing money by not dinging every single one. So like, we have to slow down packages by a day or two. Don't worry about it, because we're gonna make the money back to pay the people to do the work.
Sorry, I don't know why I just thought of this. Jason had a funny thing he said last night about knitting, and I was like, I have to share this today. Darn it, am I gonna remember? What was I working on last night?
Leg warmers?
The leg warmers. Oh, I should wait until we get to that. Okay, I'm just gonna do that next so I don't forget. Okay, so I was working on the leg warmers last night. I don't remember exactly what he said. It just became so hilarious what he said. I guess this is also my faux, but I've messed up somewhere. Working on something up with it. And he was like, oh, I thought you didn't like working on the mole hair. I was like, do you think it's really hair from a mole? Is that like when you see me knitting this every day, like, are you thinking, like, you're just picturing, I wonder, did they shave the mole, or did they pluck it, or did they just comb it and use the fur? Like, what were you thinking when you were looking at me using this pink fuzzy yarn? He's like, I don't know, what is it actually? And I was like, mohair. And he's like, oh, you see why I thought it was mole hair.
For some reason, that reminded me, I was watching the Truly Myrtle podcast, and I've heard of her before, but I think in the most recent past, she's only had like an audio podcast. Now she's gone back to doing video. So it was like her first video back. And she is like amazing to watch. I don't know, there's just something about her that's very engaging and entertaining. But she was talking about this yarn that she had used for a pattern that's in that new Lynn magazine, or the newest issue of Lynn magazine, which is a Norwegian knitting magazine. Okay. I think it's Norwegian. Anyways, she's talking about the yarn that she used for this pattern and its composition. And I thought she said the word possum, but then I was like, well, I'm trying to make dinner and I'm like not feeling 100%. So I was like, maybe I misheard her. And then she's like, yeah, about how this yarn is like wool and possum and something else. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. And I was like, I kind of think possums are cute, but I don't know that I want to wear one. Like, I feel like I need to feel possum yarn before I can like fully decide. But
I think it was Christy Glass posted a picture of a lady who did one of the pussycat hats.
Yeah.
Pussy hat.
Yeah.
With wool and dog hair.
Well,
like I've heard of people using their.
Well, I've told you this before about how when I first was like really getting into knitting more, and I was buying knitting magazines from like whatever store I was near, Shoppers Drug Mart or bookstore or whatever. In the back, they would have like an ad section that was very much like classifieds, like different sizes of ads. Because now I find most magazines, when I see them, the ads are definitely like bigger, brighter, fancier, and seem more expensive. Whereas this one, you could even get like quite small ads. But one of the ads was for that, like collect up your pet's hair, send it to this person, and they will spin it into yarn. And I was like,
oh yeah, you did say that.
So gross. Just personally for me, I was like, when I find my pet's fur on me, I'm not like, yeah. Like, I'm like, get it off me. Like, so I'm like, why would I intentionally? And I was like, to each their own. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying it's not for me. So like, then to look at a creature that we typically think as like a dirty, in the city, it's like
a bit of a rodent.
So like dirty city animals that I'm like, it's like similar. I wouldn't take raccoon fur and like put it on my body. I'm like, anyways, I'm sure they're not caught in the gutters and like shaved for your yarn.
Yeah.
They're probably raised and treated very nicely, but it still was like, it just took me a second to wrap my head around, like, possum, really? Like, I believe you that it's very soft, but I'm not sure how I feel about it.
It's the same for me. Not that I want to get into this like whole conversation, but like why we eat certain animals but not others.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like why that's weird, and why it's like it's weird for people to like participate in extended breastfeeding, but like it's okay to then wean your baby and give it the milk of some other animal. Like there's so many things that are like, why is that okay but that's not okay? And
honestly, and that whole conversation is like, it is very interesting and fascinating because it is like a lot about status and, you know, structures of societies.
Right.
Right.
I'm so like, that's like what I'm so fascinated by. That was like one great thing about being sick as well and not being able to knit was like I Netflixed a couple of good documentaries and I was like, oh, like it's just so neat. Like how
space to watch a documentary while you were sick. That's nuts.
What?
I said you had brain space to watch a documentary while you were sick.
I couldn't have read
endless TV. I was watching like Teen Mom and
no, because I didn't want to laugh.
New, like,
I didn't want to laugh.
I wasn't laughing. I was just like,
no. I was just thinking, like, I knew I didn't want to laugh. I knew I didn't want, like, something that would be irritating. Like, I don't know. For me, it was just, like, it was gentle. And the lady, it was, like, especially British documentaries. Like, a good British accent could, like, I was like, I could fall asleep, but I want to hear everything you have to say. Like, yeah. My kids were getting into it a little bit, too. Anyway,
so your mole hair leg warmers.
My mole, I got one done, but I probably will have to rip that out. Can you see that? It's like, what did I do? I feel like I followed your instruction exactly, but I don't remember yours.
I don't know. Trying to read my instructions last night, I was like, I don't know what I was trying to
especially say. The second instruction for the decrease. You know, I should have known at that point, but I was like, follow the recipe. I should have I was going to text you and say, like, and, you know, circle it and be like, why would you do a different kind of a decrease at this point? But
well, unless I was just trying to decrease down to one stitch.
That's what I think.
But the instruction, either way, whether you were decreasing 1 or 2, it didn't make sense.
Yeah, well, it doesn't look like it makes sense. And then why I didn't like go back and I just really wanted to bind it off. I was very focused on that. Otherwise, normally I'm very like particular about like doing a section and like going back and studying it to make sure it's all okay. But I was like, get it done. I'm so close to being done. And then I was like finally done and I rubbed my hands. I was like, ah, crap. I have to go back and do it again. Anyways, I won't do anything with it until I see you this weekend because we're gonna getting together to do some dreadlock. I was gonna say maintenance, but no. Start some locks on a lady's head together. We're gonna do some tag team work and Friday night we'll get a chance to do some knitting together. This yarn is shoot, it's not in my head. I got the tag for the gray.
You showed it last week, right?
You want me to just not talk about them?
No, you can if you want to.
Oh, okay. So it's 2 strands together. The gray is Borgo de Pazzi.
Your Italian is beautiful.
My Italian is gorgeous, isn't it? I am like got a knack for accents. I hear them really well, and then because of that, it just comes right out of my mouth. Like you should hear my Scottish accent. Jason loves it. Terrible of accent. Anyhow, this is the gray yarn. Hopefully you can read it, and I'll plug it at the bottom. It's recycled yarn is what I'm excited about. Why I'm excited about this yarn. And then the mohair is pink.
Stranded Dye Works.
Is that Amy Florence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For Drift, I think the base is called Drift, but she only has one mohair base. And the colorway is Legless Flamingo.
Right. Because if it was flamingo, it would have speckles of black.
If it was flamingo legs, it would have black.
That's it. Okay.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love mohair.
So I was able to.
I was talking with somebody on Instagram. I think her name's Sheena, Casual Fashion Queen. She had posted new mohairs that she had dyed, and we were going back and forth because I was like, I used to hate mohair. Like I would see it in a store. Yeah, it's cute. I would see it in a store and I'd like touch it and I'm like, it's soft, but trying to work with it, it's like I feel like I would have fibers all over me and I would just feel itchy. Now that I get that you can hold it together with something else, it's not necessarily my favorite to knit with, but it's so like just luscious when it's on that I'm like, okay, now I get it. Like at first I was like, I don't understand why anybody uses this stuff, but when it's with something, now they get that you can hold it double and how it changes the color of other things is like,
yes. That isn't that so neat. Now I'm gonna have to pull it back out again. Yeah, I haven't been enjoying knitting with it. I thought I would. Like I just love looking at people's like pictures with the halo and stuff like that. And then touching the leg warmers that you did before. I love how it looks. Isn't like it's just so neat. It's like boring ASS gray. You know?
Yeah.
And then you put this piece of like cotton candy with this boring gray and then look at it. Like it's just so
it's like has something about it's kind of vintage and soft and pretty and
it feels like I don't know, I was gonna say a cloud, but that's not what I would say. It's just so much more like you know?
Yeah. It's
you just feel like all the air in it. Like it's
and that gray colorway when I bought it, it kind of I don't even remember what I was shopping for actually on Little Red Mitten's site, but I think I was looking for needles and somehow stumbled upon this and it said it was like it's recycled, but it said cashmere. So I thought, oh, it's going to be softer than like the recycled wool. It does not feel like cashmere. Like it's not really soft at all.
Rough, yeah.
So using it with the mohair is like now you've just you know, if you have something in your stash that you're like, the color's okay.
I still wouldn't say it's soft.
I always feel like it feels so like the halo because you feel more the mohair on your skin.
Oh, it's not creamy. You know what I mean? Like cashmere is like creamy.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not saying it's the same as cashmere, but it just like ups the softness factor.
It does up the softness
of a regular yarn. And same with the yarn that I used it for on my first pair. That flamingo colorway that I used, the sock yarn one from Vicki Brown, it was okay, but I wasn't like as excited about it in person as I had been in pictures. But then adding the legless flamingo with it, and I was like, oh my gosh, like the two colors just glow together. It's so beautiful. Actually, speaking of mohair, where did I put my project thing?
Yeah, what did you cast on with mohair?
I cast on another scrunchie. There's no.
Yes, right. I was like, I know.
Cast on another scrunchie. So I'm using a unicorn tail in an unknown colorway to do an I-cord cast on. And I'm holding the mohair with that. Right. And then for the main body, so this is Stranded Dye Works again, her Meddlesome colorway. So it's like mostly dark blue, but there's sections of like pink and purple and a bit of like a swampy kind of olivey green. It's like the cake doesn't really show all the colors. And then I'm going to be holding it double with Madeline Tosh, her Merino Light in the ink colorway. So it's like it's like a dark navy, but a warm dark navy, like a very royal purple kind of dark navy. So I think the two together are just going to be stunning. Yeah.
I can't wait to see it in person. Yeah. Which this segues nicely into my scrunchie. Get my socks on because I'm chilly willy. I
feel like I'm making awkward faces because my knees are really sore right now.
Yeah, that was the worst part of being sick.
Crampy. I don't know if it's just I'm dehydrated a bit from yesterday. I was trying to force myself to drink, but I was having a hard time. Like I just didn't want anything in my mouth. So my legs are feeling a little crampy right now.
The worst part of being sick was my hips aching. Like worse than the feeling of my uncomfortableness in my stomach. I couldn't lay comfortably. Like all you want to do is lay still and you can't because my hips ached so bad. Okay, anyway, so I'm working. I cast on my scrunchies and spandex. Or are you just calling it scrunchie now?
I don't know.
Temu's one of her newer designs. That is, the pattern is still pending. I cast this on like just before I got sick. Haven't picked it back up yet. So, do you really want a close-up of the? Okay. This is what it looks like. I started it. Oh, tangle. Yeah, I'm in the middle of a row too. So, or no, I'm not. I don't know. Whatever. I'm in an awkward spot. Cast it on with this pink.
That's a Beauty School Dropout.
Right, by Lolo did it. And then picked up this. This is the main color of the whole. This will be like, I don't know if I'll use the whole thing or not. I have no idea. Pretty much, yeah. The main color is this, don't tell me, Pretty Young Thing by Lolo did it. And then this is what it actually.
And that's on her plush sock.
Plush sock. There you go. Yeah, it looks a little bit muddy on the screen, but it's so bright and fun. Like there are some really, like you can tell there are like dark blips. It's almost like, you know, like this is the older sister of Temu's first one she cast off. And this older sister, although she has like funness about her, you know, with the highlighter colors, she's got like, you know, like the moodiness to her too, right? Like there's like darker colors in there. So I kind of like it. She's a little bit more complicated than the younger sister for sure. I like it.
Yeah.
Horrible description, I know, but
it was a funny description.
Well, whatever. That's like what I think about.
I just enjoy your like psychological assessment of the older sister.
Don't you ever like just think about, maybe it's just me. I think I've always like, I just love relationships and I love like the psychology of people a little bit. And I'd always like, when I was a kid, I tell Ada this stuff too. I'd like be doing dishes and I'd be like, this is, I can't believe I'm going to share this. I'd be like, the forks or the spoon and the knife would be like in a relationship. Do you remember me telling this before? The spoon and the knife are in a relationship. You have to make activities fun, right? Yeah. So they always have, like, you know, you'd like the cutlery container. We didn't have dishwasher when we were kids. We'd like take turns every night doing dishes. Mm-hmm. Then I'd be doing dishes and the cutlery would always go into the drying rack. And there's like two compartments. The spoon and the knife would go together. The spoon was the female, the knife was the male, and the fork was the home-wrecking female. And I had to like keep her as far away from the knife as possible. And same as like playing solitaire. I would like, the cards had genders and they were in relationships and there'd always be a home wrecker there too. Well, I watched a lot of soap operas with my mom when she was younger. This is how I processed the soap operas that we used to watch. Anyways, so when I knit, I tell stories about my yarn, I guess. This is scrunchies and spandex. It's fun. I look forward to picking it back up. I just have to figure out the increase that Temu is describing.
You're probably overthinking it. It's really not that hard.
I probably am, but it was because I got sick and I was just like, I just don't want to make a mistake and have to go back. Yeah. And sometimes like having to figure out how to like correct a stitch.
Yeah.
Right? Like how to tink it is like, takes some brain power. So I'll be ready to go back to it sometime this week. Okay, what's next for you? Oh, yay!
This is pretty much all I did yesterday.
Cool. You've joined the front, hey?
I joined the front just because I wanted that. I didn't want it in two pieces anymore. But then I tried to try it on, joined, and I'm like, it seems very short.
Yeah, but wait till you block.
Okay.
It does grow.
Okay.
Or did you stretch it a bit?
What do you mean?
Like, did you have it on, like, to, like, fold it and, like, flatten it a bit just to see?
A little bit, yeah, but I would not really. Because the back's open, so it's, like, hard to also get a sense of, like, where everything will really be.
Yeah, it is hard to get a sense. But mine is shorter than what I probably would normally wear, but it's definitely a layering top.
I don't mind, like, a little bit cropped, but, like, I mean, it's also rolling up and stuff too, so it's like hard to assess, but I was like, I feel like this looks like a bra top. It's so short, but
no, you have to block it.
I'm very close to the end. So
yeah. Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You're so excited. Okay, so what's the thing that you said? I don't think I have any more stuff. What's the thing that you said that you would talk about that would make you excited and perk you up a little bit?
Okay, hold on. One more whip.
Okay. Oh, I gotta put this away.
Last week you asked about my brackish hat that I'm hacking into a cowl.
Yeah, you saw you had worked quite a bit on it. Cool. That looks
I
really
think when we
gorgeous.
talked, when you asked about it, it was like here, maybe. So I did all this kind of the night after.
Cool.
Throw it on for a second. And I realized seasonally I'm running out of time, so I'm like, I better get going on this or it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be too warm to wear it.
Yeah. But there's always next year.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm kind of short rowing it, I guess, now.
Why?
Because I want it to
Stand tall as opposed to scrunching, right?
not even that. It's I want it to be long, like to go down in the front.
Okay.
So I'm kind of, how was I doing it? So I'm kind of like this side I'm working straight, but on this side I'm decreasing.
Okay.
So it like will hopefully kind of slope down. I don't know. I might be overdoing the hacking on this one. That happens sometimes. I get like ideas, and in my head I'm like, oh, it'll look like this. But in reality, it's like, no, that's not how things work. So we'll see. Might be a mess. I might have to take it back up. But I don't even know what I did at this point. I couldn't even like write accurate notes to be like, here's how you could make yours like mine. I'd be like,
Right.
I don't know, throw some random increases in there. You start picking apart the color work pattern to make it fit the numbers you got. You mess up the back because the numbers don't actually work out. And ta-da!
Yeah.
Because there's like definitely like an obvious little area in the back where like I was sort of following the chart still for the color work, but because I had added increases, but it wasn't actually like the numbers didn't work anymore, and I wasn't really paying that close attention to it. So it's like there's like a very obvious kind of like seamed area almost in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whatever. It's the back. Most of the time my hair would cover it. So
Yeah.
so now it's like the numbers are so off that I'm like not really. I'm just kind of making up color work as I go along.
Are you? I was gonna say, okay, up where there's like the white with the yellow in the middle. Looks like an egg.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
The,
This is all part of the pattern for sure.
yeah. And then your newest one looks like a little cupcake. That's cute.
Yeah. So I'm kind of trying to stick to like similar shapes just so it doesn't look like totally different, but and kind of yarn management because I'm getting down to close-ish to the end of certain colors. So is the way the pattern was, because it was supposed to be a hat, there was a lot of the gray, the dark gray, but then like equal small balls of all the other colors. So just trying to like take yarn management into consideration and not, you know, sort of plan out a little pattern in my head that I'm not going to be able to finish because I'm going to run out. So we shall see where this ends up.
Yeah, cool. Sorry, did you say you left enough gray to do like the band at the bottom?
I think I'm going to end up doing the bind off in another color.
Mustard?
Yeah, I don't know, whatever I have left, because I have like this much of the gray, this much of the teal, but just this much of the light blue, and then like a lot more of the mustard. So we'll see. I'm pretty easygoing about it.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm not like more just like having fun playing around with it rather than worrying too much about it. It's just like every time I like doing something and I'm like, oh, I hope I don't have to frog it back because I like keep clipping the colors once I get like far enough away from them. So like if I do have to clip it back, like frog it back, I'm just gonna have a lot of pieces, you know?
Yeah.
That I'm gonna have to keep track of. So, and then the thing that I'm like actually very excited about.
Oh. I saw something. I think maybe not.
So they had posted on Spin Cycle Yarns had posted on their Instagram that they had just a few skeins of this. They had done them as like a special thing for a show. Now I can't remember what show it was. And they only had a few left that they had posted in their shop. And I like went over there fully expecting them to be gone already. And nope, they had some left.
Cool.
I love it so much.
I'm like, that looks so familiar. Why is that? Maybe I just saw an update about it or something.
So the colorway is called Borderlands. It's 100% BFL, blue-faced Leicester. It's 800 yards fingering weight. I'm so excited about this.
Cool. Sorry, what's it going to be?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think I need to cast on something with it like right now though. Because it has that like, I don't know if they actually hand spin it. I think it's machine spun, but they like have curated, I think now that, I don't know. You'd have to go and like look up their actual story. What I think though is that all their...
Hello. Hi, Ada. You were saying you're going to use that for something.
Yeah, well, I want to cast it on like right now because it's so... Ugh. That's pretty much what I've been like mail stocking it like crazy. And so like speaking of customs, because it wasn't super cheap to begin with, and then shipping, and then freaking customs. And I'm like,
sorry, where are they? The US?
They're in the US.
Yeah.
It's not like it's coming from that far. Customs will get you. Anyways.
Yeah.
I start shopping locally.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like,
it's not like I don't believe in shopping locally. It's just sometimes
yeah,
I have impulse control issues and I don't want to leave my house, and it's just easier to shop online.
There's just so many people doing like really, really beautiful work, and be nice to not be like, yeah, to not care where it's coming from. I mean, like, yes, I also think about environmentally, like what's,
yeah,
it has to travel a distance, and if it has to travel a distance, then you're putting emissions out there and stuff like that. But I'm just like, in terms of appreciating people's work, it's nice to like not be stopped by the price of how much it costs to get here.
Yeah. And if I could go everywhere, like if I had the means to travel everywhere myself, maybe if I didn't buy so much yarn, I would. I would, but it's just not, sometimes things are limited and you can only get them for a short time and you just have to do it. I want it to be done. Whatever it is, I want it to be on right now.
Right.
I just want to like unskein it and just like put it around my neck and wear it like that.
You can do that.
Anyway, so what I'm thinking though, because I feel like it needs like not a lot of pattern to really show off the transitions of the colors.
Yeah.
Then I was thinking like, oh, I wonder if I have anything else that's BFL in my stash. And then I remembered that we had this little mini skein from Crooked Kitchen.
Yeah.
But I'm like, some of the colors actually kind of complement and kind of pick up some of the same colors in here.
Yeah.
So what I might do,
it looks nice together,
is make a knit version of the Stitch with Grit.
Oh.
So this will be like my starting triangle.
Nice.
And then this for
cool.
the rest of it. Because it is like, there's a slight pattern to it. Like, so the crocheted version, the stitches that I chose, like, does create a lot of, like, can create a lot of texture. But I think when I do the knit version, I will focus more on the surface texture, because you know how it kind of had like those ridges going? So I'll focus more on that rather than trying to duplicate the other stitch patterns, if that makes sense. So I know how I can duplicate the stitch pattern for the starting triangle, or not duplicate it, but do something similar. Think of like the top of the adventures with the wrong side. I'm going to use that stitch pattern, I think, for this.
It's got goosebumps.
And then the rest.
I love working that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I think it'll be fun, but then I'm like, it wouldn't be fun on the whole shawl.
No.
Maybe here and there, but I feel like when the rows get really long, it would be like, oh my God, I'm going to stab myself in the eye. Whereas like when it's just this small 20 grams worth of doing it, it'll be fun. And then this the yarn will have a chance to speak for itself. You'll add just a little bit of texture, so break up the long rows and not make it too painful. And I have a way that I think I'm going to do that. I have like 2 ideas in my head, so we'll see if I do it the really easy way or if I do something a little bit.
Now I'm going to want to do that.
Yeah.
I actually have.
I really want to cast that on right now. And I'm trying to force myself to finish this first.
I actually have some yarn. I think it's the boho chic 1-ply.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You gave me that. I feel like that would be nice for the body.
The variegated green, yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you do that, and I might use that. I don't know what I'd use for the starting of it, but
we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
Good thing is mini skeins are not hard to come by right now. Like,
yeah, it's true.
You know, it's not like back in the day. I feel like sometimes you had to open up a whole skein to just do one stripe or to just do one little section.
Now everyone loves minis and minis and
my goodness. And now it's like mini overload. Like I have a hard time holding.
Can I get a full skein, please?
Well, and I will like sometimes have a hard time holding myself back because I'm like, oh, the minis, they're so cute. And then I get them and I'm like, what am I going to do with all these? Like, I don't really have a plan. I just got them because they're cute.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that is what I'm very excited about.
Cool.
Giving me life. It's a good like incentive to plug through to the end of my Banalbries.
Yes.
Which I also really want to cast on a bunch of other things from my Make 9 list. So that's also incentive to get through my Banalbries. And like, I mean, nothing against this pattern. This pattern is not bad at all. I'm done with it. I want it done. Like, it's funny because sometimes I think I'm equal parts process knitter and project knitter. I like the process. I enjoy the work. But I also want the finished project to be done and on, and so I can see the fruits of my labor. And when the process takes too long, it starts to drag me down, you know? And that's what I feel like with my Banalbries. I don't know. And it's like funny because I'm curious to see what it will look like when I actually block it out, because I don't know why, but I thought, oh, the second half I'll have no problem with the counts. I still was off in the counts. Either that or my ability to count was off. But I swear my stitch counts were still like not drastically off, but just like a stitch or two here and there.
Yeah.
Why? Like I cannot figure out.
But once I redid mine, everything was to his numbers.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's the pattern at all. Like I think it's me, but I don't know what I did that threw it off. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. I think I just do better with something. It's like something has to be very engaging.
Yeah,
or
I can get that.
Quite mindless, and anything in the middle where it's like it's mindless, but then you have to pay attention to one spot. It's like, I don't want to. I just want to knit, or I want to pay attention. I don't want to do both at this. Like I don't know how to do both at the same time. So like the color work is great because I pay attention to every single stitch. Like making sure that everything lines up and that it all's good. And then like something that's really vanilla, like a sock, is great because I really don't pay attention to hardly anything. I just do a chunk without even thinking about it. And then I stop and I measure and whatever,
It's so great to like do all the things, try everything, because it just helps you to understand more and more about what your preferences are, right? So then you can look at a pattern and know like, okay, that's beautiful, but I'm not going to enjoy knitting it, so I'm not going to bother. Or that's so beautiful, I'm not going to enjoy knitting it, but I just want the finish. So that's what you're working. That's why you're continuing.
Well, and I can look at a project like, looking at my Make 9 list, and I can decide what I think would be a good next project.
Yeah.
Energy I think I have, how many whips I currently have, like, because I have started to kind of get down in the whips again. So I'm like, okay, maybe I have the mental space to cast on my Messaline, I'm assuming that's how it's pronounced, by Bristol Ivy sweater that I bought as a Craftsy kit. It's right that time of year where I'm like, it'll be incentive to get it done before it gets too hot to even a little bit consider wearing it. But, it's like, I think it'll be good because
the knitting content's pretty much done. Do you want to come in and say hi?
Sure.
Oh, I love that shirt.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice hat, yeah.
I'm wearing some knitting.
I'm wearing some knitting. You're
Oh, and now it's gone.
now it's stolen from you. What was this? The classic cuffed hat with the tennis fiber arts olive.
It's my hat.
Okay, stop kicking.
Fits like a glove.
Yeah, fits like a hat.
Fits like a hat.
And it matches the stain paint, face paint on your face.
It's mine.
He was a T-Rex
Yeah.
a few days ago, and his like half of his face is still green.
He looks like who's that character? Mumbles or something from Fat Albert?
Don't stretch the hat.
Look how stretchy it is.
Don't stretch it, please. Okay, take it off if you're not gonna actually wear it anymore. Can you and Daddy go and make some lunch for me?
No.
Are you gonna have lunch right now?
No.
Can you?
What did you do? What did you do today?
Where were you just now?
Oh yeah, was it fun?
Where were you?
Downstairs.
Where did you go out with Daddy?
The library.
The library. Did you bring home any books?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yes.
But that was my hat and I wasn't. So I was wearing,
Daddy wore a hat and you did not.
yeah, because I was having hands outside and not in the head.
You wore mittens outside.
And I wheeled my head outside.
You wore your head outside.
And I wheeled my boots outside. And my toes outside.
Yes.
Because it was really windy on my hand.
It was windy on your hands.
Chilly, isn't it? Oh yeah, and I caked this. I was almost gonna cast one. This is Kama Sutra by Mustache
Oh, okay.
Yarns.
I think I should know what that is. Yeah.
I keep forgetting. I think I changed my plan in my head. So remember how I said that ugly sweater party yarn that I got that you were like, you should make that into sleeves.
Yeah.
And then I ordered yarn to be the body of the
okay.
sweater for one of those sock arms sweaters.
Yeah.
So I had ordered yarn to be the body. I don't know what I was thinking when I was ordering the yarn, but it came. It's the colorway that I wanted, but it's on sport weight instead of fingering weight.
It's on what? Sorry.
It's on sport.
Okay.
I bought sport base, and I'm like, why did I buy sport for the body of a sweater where the sleeves are clearly fingering weight? I'm like, that doesn't make. I mean, you can do it.
I was gonna say you can because it's not that.
You can. I'm just not sure why I did that because
Right.
I don't think I think I just wasn't thinking, you know?
Right.
So, but then this is sport weight. So now I almost think I might switch and do these as arms with the sport weight that I bought for that body and then do something.
What was the color of the body?
It's like a navy, like a warm navy. Like it kind of go well with
Okay, yeah.
like this color, but a couple shades darker. It's a little bit tonal, like it's not super solid, but yeah. I think it would be a good fit with this. I think it'd be a really fun sweater, but I'm just like, yeah. I caked this because I was going to cast on while we were talking and start making leg warmers. And then I was like, oh, no, wait. I was going to save it and do sleeve for the sweater. So now I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, right. Sexy leg warmers. That was your plan originally. The Kama Sutra.
Because it's called Kama Sutra.
Now you'll have sexy sleeves.
Be able to like wear my sweater in the bedroom.
Now I'm just picturing your original plan wearing your sexy sweater in the bedroom. I guess
your legs warm.
Yeah.
I want to get a cramp.
Probably better than wearing a sweater during that activity.
Gross. All right. I think that's it.
Yes, I think I need to go.
I'm gonna go sit on the couch with my computer and try to work.
Auntie is
Yeah.
and Auntie is Miles in your house.
No, Miles is at school right now. But how about after school? I will try really hard to remember to call you guys or FaceTime you guys so we can chat.
Is this on you?
FaceTime so that they won't
Is it-
actually chat. They'll just make the funny faces.
I want to be a bunny! I want to breathe fire!
Can you put one leg on the other side? Oh, this is a very awkward setup that we have. Here we go.
Is he trying to ride side saddle?
Are you hungry for lunch?
No,
Hey, Clark.
no,
Hey, Clark. Can you say, see you later?
no,
Can you say, yarn on?
No.
Can you say bye?
no.
All right.
Well, how about we'll just say it then. Yarn on, everybody.
Yarn on. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.